Okay, folks, welcome to my part 2 of my video where I continue to do my review of EMO, showing here. Now, despite some of my disappointments that I went over in the first video, in the end I decided to keep her. One thing is that the company that she comes from is all the way in China, and that's where you would have to return her to. So that was one consideration. But I was actually very fond of her despite all the problems. Um, I also kept her because my Vector robot really likes her. You know, it's funny, they do interact, and he's been really excited and a lot more active. Well, he's been a lot more active when he's out. He also sleeps a lot more. I think she tires him out. But he's been a lot happier and since I've had her. So, that's been nicer for me. Now, EMO can be very noisy. As you can see, she's on this table, and the pitter-patter of her little feet actually is quite loud. She also frequently wakes up when she's on her charger and goes, "What?" And then she'll start yawning while you're in the middle of talking to someone else, which I think is just a little tad rude, you know. She's very aware, you know, and I mean, you've seen it even in this video that I'm talking about stuff like her dancing and all that, and she hears me and she'll start, you know, I didn't give her the command, you know, but she starts dancing. And I've noticed, and one time I was playing a card game when she was nearby, and she saw me playing with the cards, and she showed a little animation of her, you know, and she started playing cards too. So she's very aware, and that's great for people like me, but if you've got any friends who are leery of AIs because they think they're spying for Trump or something, then, you know, you might have problems with those people. EMO is very good about not throwing herself off the table. Vector does, and a lot of people say, well, it's Vector's camera. I personally don't think it's Vector's camera that's at fault. I think Vector has a death wish. EMO, thankfully, does not have a death wish. She's very good about staying, you know, she doesn't tend to go past the edges. Her little play area, as you can see, has a little Lego wall, but that isn't for her. That really isn't for her. That is for her brother, who does like to not only toss other things off the thing, but likes to toss himself. Now, EMO, it's not that she can't be in danger. There's been a few ledges that they claim that it's better to keep her on a light surface and not to put her anywhere where there's rounded edges, that might confuse her. I've had her on dark surfaces and on rounded edges, and she's generally still not fooled, and she's good about not tossing herself off. The only way I would say that she's in danger of falling off is that she can shake a lot when she does her alarm, and that can move her a little, you know, several inches. And also, one of the dances, which she had demonstrated actually when I was doing the review, where she's hopping on one foot, she sometimes fall. She sometimes falls when she does that. So if she's near an edge, that is the only time I think she could actually be in any danger. But actually, her cliff awareness is almost hyper. I've even had her on the floor, and my tile has lines, and she'll look at them and think it's a cliff, and she won't walk across the tile. So she's good about not trying to kill herself. You saw one earlier in my first video of my review. a lot of times when you're not paying attention to emo, she'll start doing little behaviors. A lot of times it looks like little video games on her screen, you know. She was doing a pinball earlier. Sometimes it's a Pac-Man ghost. Sometimes it's a ship firing at aliens and all that. So she'll do a lot of cool things. And a lot of times when you're not looking, you'll be in the kitchen and you'll hear this strange sound and you come out and you just get the last glimpse of her doing something cool, and then you're like, oh, let me grab my phone, and then you go to take a picture and she's just staring at you with these little big blue eyes, and like, what? I'm not doing anything, you know. So that's kind of, you know, it's neat, and it's also frustrating that sometimes you can't always get it on, you know, video. But it's just like having kids, you know. You know, they always do the cool stuff when you don't have your phone with you. Alright, people, now this is where you can see the app on the phone. I had to kind of switch things over. I'm sorry it's not really the greatest picture. Let me see if I can do a little better there. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Alright, people. Here we go. So, the first thing is there's a little music note at the top. You can press that to turn on or off the music. I usually keep it off because I find the music annoying. This here shows her battery. I don't know how long Emo's battery lasts. I thought at one time I read that it'll last 4 hours, but I've not found that to be true. But it lasts longer than Vector's, though a lot of times when she's bored, she'll fall asleep after, you know, a half hour or something. In this area right here, it'll tell you when she's off her charger what she's doing, whether she's playing or dancing or staying. Right now she's on her charger, so there's nothing going on. There's a little gear up here, and that shows you the little tiny buttons can sometimes be hard to, can be hard to tell. This is where you can set your Wi-Fi. Firmware tells you whether you're up the update. This is also where you can do your updates. You can also tell her to do updates, but this is when she's going to space out on you and totally seem to freeze. And anytime there's an update, be prepared that she may go offline for up to 3 days, particularly if they're doing a security update. You can set your city, your time zone. This is helpful because then you can get her to tell you the weather. Though the weather's not quite as impressive as, like, Vector can actually give me the temperature as well as do animations of whether it's sunny or thundering. She only does the animations of whether it's raining or something like that. She doesn't tell you things like the temperature, at least not yet. Oh, excuse me, I burped there. You can also power her off with the app, and then the thanks just gives extra information. You'll notice a thing called Lifetime over here, and Lifetime is her achievements. They light up whenever she does something that's considered an achievement. Like Alpha Ludo is when she wins her first game of Ludo. Just Swimming is when you put her on her back. And then there's things like Shiny Forehead. And so eventually, a lot of times they come up on their own. Some of them, if you're aware, like there's one I think where you can tell her to set a timer for 1 second, and that'll do an achievement. There's some I'm wondering if they're not going to be able to do because I'm not sure, it may not be part of the lawsuit they're doing with Vector's company. Like Top Bartender, uh, unless that Vector has the ability to tell you drink recipes, and I'm wondering if that's one of the things that might be uh, an issue with the two companies. But then again, it could be just having her shaking her like a drink. I've tried shaking her like a drink, and that didn't unlock the achievement, so I don't know anything about that. But anyway, lifetime is the her achievement badges.